Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go over how to take an image and convert it to an SVG file in Adobe Illustrator, and then take that SVG into a 3D modeling program like Tinkercad to edit it for 3D printing. So the first thing you're going to need is Adobe Illustrator, and if you don't have it, I'll put a link in the description below for a free 30-day trial just to give it a shot and see the capabilities of it. So once you have Adobe Illustrator, you're going to want to get a logo or an image, something that you want to convert into an SVG for 3D printing. I suggest something that's pretty simple and that has some sharp edges. So the best one out of all these, I would say this white and red one, high contrast between the white and the red, and Illustrator will be able to pick up on that pretty easily and get them separated out and pull out just this W here, because that's what I want to print out. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this image and open up Adobe Illustrator and open up a new file. And since this image is a square, I want the width and the height to be the same. 600 by 600 has worked pretty well for me in the past. Brings it into Tinkercad at a pretty reasonable size, but again, you can always size it down once you bring it into Tinkercad. So all the other preferences here are pretty good. They shouldn't have to change them. So press OK, and I get my square, and then I can go ahead and edit and paste in this logo. And it's a pretty big file size, but I can always click and drag to get to my anchor points, and click and hold on the anchor points and scale it down. And by holding Shift, it'll maintain the ratio of the width and the height of the size, so it always looks the same. And I'll get it sized down and get it to fit here in my square. It looks pretty good for me right now. And now I want to convert it to a vector image, so whatever size I make it, it'll always look the same. So the way I do that, there's this button up here called Image Trace. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what Illustrator is doing is it's tracing out on the lines, the sharp lines that it sees. It's tracing out, separating the white from the red there. And this is black and white. But there are other ways you can do this if it doesn't look exactly how you want it to look. I'll go ahead and undo this really quickly. If it doesn't come out how you like it, or how you'd like it to look, you can go to Window, Image Trace, and that'll give you some options to edit it a little bit more freely. And you can preview. So I can do it in color. I can change some of the values here to get a little bit sharper, but that looks pretty good for me. So after you image trace, you have the option to expand, and you can see now Illustrator has these anchor points in here, and we have the W right here, which is what we need. But we need to remove the black from around here and this little the website down here. So to do that, we need to ungroup this first, since these are grouped together. And you need to do it twice. I'm not sure why, but you're going to go to Object, Ungroup once, Object, Ungroup again. So now when I go to my selection tool, I can select just this W, just these down here, and just the black. So to remove what I don't need, there are two ways to do it. I'll show you both. The first way is a little more simple. You just click on what you don't want. So I don't want this black here, so just select it and delete. And you can see the W is still there. We can't see it because it's white, but I can always change that. We have this black circle here. Don't need that. And then we have the website logo, or the website down here. We don't need that either. If there's a group of objects you don't need, you can click and hold and draw out a circle. And you can see there's what I don't need, and I delete it. And I can always change this so I can see it better. Now the other way to do it, I'm just going to undo everything I just did. The other way to do it is with the Shape Builder tool. So what you're going to want to do is select everything. And basically, instead of going in and deleting things, you're using a tool to do the same thing. It's just called removing it, or just taking it away from the image. So the Shape Builder tool is over here. I'm going to click on this, and you can see I have a plus sign next to my arrow, and that will that'll make a shape. So if I click and drag to two different shapes, it'll turn them into one, which is not what I want, but for some other logos you might want that if you want to combine elements together. But for my purposes, I want to remove this black. So there's a plus now. To subtract, I'm going to hold Option on the Mac or Alt on PC, and you can see there's a minus there, and I'm going to click, and now that black's gone. Now I don't want this black either. Now that's gone. And I don't want all of this. I can click and drag and remove all of those. You can see it doesn't always do the best job, but you can go back in like before, click and hold and select everything I don't need and delete it. So either way, whichever way you choose, you're still left with this this logo with the anchor points around it. So I'm going to make this black. There's a color guide over here. Make it black so we can see it. Scale it up a little bit if I need to, just so it fits the window. Again, holding shift to maintain the dimensions. And that's looking pretty good. So now whatever size I make this, it'll always be just as sharp as before. So you can see it's a lot bigger now, still sharp. So that's what a scalable vector graphic is, an SVG. You can scale it as big as you need and it'll always look the same because of these anchor points on the side. So now I have my W and I'm ready to save it and bring it into Tinkercad. So I'm going to go over here and press File, Save As. And you're going to need to make sure that you change this to an SVG. The default is Adobe Illustrator .ai file, and we're going to need to change it to an SVG file, Scalable Vector Graphic. And I'll change the name to Nationals Logo. Save it to wherever you need to, and save. You shouldn't need to mess with any of these, just press OK. So now I have my file. I'm going to go into Tinkercad. I already have a new work plan set up, and I'm going to go ahead and import. So I'm going to choose File and navigate to where I saved my file, which is on the desktop. So go to my desktop, go to Nationals Logo, and open it up. And then I need to import. And you can see just like an Illustrator, it looks the exact same, but now Tinkercad automatically adds dimension to it. So I can go ahead and print this right away, save it and print it right away, 3D printing. But at the same time, you could also just mess around and get creative with it. So I can copy it and make a box or anything and make a work plan here, and you can paste it in wherever you need to. You can make it a hole and sink it in. So a lot of cool effects once you have what you need. And so just get creative with it. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And I'll probably make another tutorial in the future with some more in-depth ways of working with these, adding some lines around it maybe. But for now, this is a good way to get started on working with logos and scalable vector graphics in Illustrator and Tinkercad. Thanks.